You've had some of this candy you've had for years. You need to get rid of it.
That's what I was thinking.
Give them these candy canes.
I'm probably gonna do that because the chocolate stuff will be gone by then. But I don't want to keep opening my fucking door.
Give them these like weird colored ones.
I'm one of those guys. I would just put a bucket outside.
No, that's some jackass. It's gonna take a lot more.
Good.
Can you get like those crazy floodlights? And then when you had one of your cameras set up and you could see them, and if they take more than one, you turn on the floodlights on them and
put
then
it back,
put
bitch.
it back. Yeah, fuck you. Do that. You know, do you know those like strawberry wrapper candies that your grandmas have at their house all the time?
Yeah.
Where the fuck do you get those? Where do you get those from? I never see them for sale.
That's some old-fashioned shit. The stuff I used to like was the candy that was wrapped in either a black wrapper or an orange wrapper, and it was like a peanut butter tasting one.
You're the only person that's one of those things that the grandmas give out.
No, this is my precious resources here. So.
Well, some of these are from Christmas. Like, give
What happened?
them only candy canes for.
I'll just put a. You know what I should do? I should rent a candy coin machine.
Yeah.
So when they walk up there, it'll be a whole big thing of candy, but they have to put a fucking quarter in there. So I make something out of it.
That's a good idea.
And that way, if I hear that where they're trying to get a piece of the jawbreaker out, then I'll be like, cash money.
We live in a suburban area, and you'd think that we would get a lot of kids that would come by, but since I live like in a college town.
So what do? Just put out condoms?
No, John Gray and Adam and I always get candy every year because we get maybe one trick-or-treater a year. And so one time I was in the house and it was Halloween because I was getting ready to go to a friend's house for their party, and there was a knock on the door and I opened it and it was two girls and they were like sorority chicks, and they were in like pillowcases pretending to be ghosts, and they were like trick or treat, and they were a year younger than me. And I looked at them, but I felt like, I don't know, they caught me off guard, so I was like, I can't believe this is actually happening. Like, someone a year younger than me is trick-or-treating at my house. So, like,
yeah,
they're 23. Like, what the fuck? And so I looked at them, and then I didn't know what to do because we didn't actually want to give them candy. So I grabbed a protein bar, a Cliff Bar, and I handed it to one of them, and I was like, you gotta share it. And then I closed the door on them. It was a protein bar. I was like, what the fuck? And they closed it.
You know what would be fucking awesome if I was gonna videotape myself doing shit for that, or if you have a bunch of dumbass college people, go buy those bag of salads.
Oh yeah.
And then open that up and get a bag. Reach in there and just hand them some lettuce. Here you go. Who wants a carrot?
There you go.
Uh-oh, somebody's gonna get the bacon bits.
Oh my god, you're getting watercress, bitch. Like,
yeah, here's a little bowl for you if you guys want to have a salad on my
Then you dump the salad dressing in their bag. But
if it's a college person, be an asshole.
We had one kid one year, and he was this little boy by himself, and John Gray told me that for the last couple of years before I had moved in, he's like, I never had trick-or-treaters, but I always buy candy. And there was a knock on the door, and John Gray opened it, and it was a little kid, and John Gray was like, oh, you want candy? And John Gray fangirled over this kid at the front door.
Yeah.
And he was like, here you go, bud, have a good Halloween. The kid fucking ran out of there. He grabbed his candy, he ran as fast as he could, and he did come back and got in his parents' car and drove off. I was like, you scared the kid.
That's because you're like fucking Pennywise. And he was like, oh, hi, Georgie. You want some candy?
Yeah,
oh my God. We have a
he was so
trick-or-treater.
excited. And like, yeah, I don't know. John Gray and I, last couple of Halloweens, would go to our friend's house, and John Gray would dress up like in his Spider-Man suit and pass out candy to the kids, and they all freaked the fuck out, and they were all excited about him because he has the movie Spider-Man suit. I don't dress up on Halloween usually. I don't want to because it's every weekend for me. So
one Halloween where I said that something weird's happening, I keep hearing a knock at my door, but I look to the people, I don't see anything. But then a few minutes later, I'll hear a ghost saying, "This house sucks. Let's go." My dad back then would literally take you to a street and then just let you get out and walk it.
Yeah.
But he didn't want to drive around that much, so he'd have sheets in the car, and then he'd go, all right, put the sheet on and go back a second time. It was a fucking ghost. So we'd hit neighborhoods twice. But now everybody's just like, take your kid to the fucking mall. And
yeah.
And I don't really see the point of it. I mean, when I was a kid and shit like that, it was like, you know, somebody puts a penny in your fucking bag and you're just like, what the fuck?
Especially now, we shouldn't even have pennies.
No,
it costs
now,
more money to make.
now the
than
kid whips out one of those fucking PayPal snipe things, and he's just like,
With the card in there.
swipe.
Sign, and then if you want a tip, you can. Holy shit. I mean, like, I think if I ever move in a neighborhood where there's a lot of trick-or-treaters, I'm gonna be a dick. I'm gonna have a shit candy pile, then I'm gonna have a good candy pile, and then I'm gonna have a whole candy bar pile. And that shit's for me at the end of the night if no kid impresses me with their outfit. So I got 3 different tiers. You
Just
get
get
the,
them.
because there was one girl that showed up, she had an Elsa dress on and like a monster mask, and she like had all of her clothes on under her costume, and the dress didn't fit. And then I had asked her, I was like, what are you for Halloween? As I'm handing her candy. Whatever. And grabs candy. I was like, oh, you gonna get a fucking Tootsie Roll. You're gonna get a grape Tootsie Roll, you piece of shit. Because it's called effort and manners.
Maximum
Fuck
effort.
you. Have a jawbreaker.
That's when
dick.
you need that bag of stuff.
I get a bag of stuff.
I would love to do
You're gonna get a
that.
bag of raisins. Give it to your kid. You know?
Give him a fucking apple.
I'm seriously, like, who the fuck do you think you are, child? Coming in here to my house expecting me to give you free shit for what? For your shit costume? No.
No, if we got money or something, that was pretty. That was like on Easter when everybody started doing the, oh, go find the fucking eggs, and there's like nothing in
Yeah.
there. And then my aunt was like, she had money, so she'd be like, I put money in them. And then we're like, oh, I'll kill somebody over this motherfucker.
Yeah.
And we're out there elbowing each other and shit like that, trying to get all the damn eggs because
Yeah.
we knew there was cash in it.
We had a neighborhood in my hometown called the Heights, and they go all out. Like, they go all out for Halloween and for Christmas. So you can drive up and down the streets and watch the Christmas lights, or you can just like, it's a safe neighborhood. There's cops everywhere watching everybody, and it's just houses after houses, like decked out, and you get so much candy. And I used to go there, but then I was in 4th grade when 9/11 happened.
Yeah.
And do you remember after 9/11 there was a lot of anthrax scares?
Yeah.
I don't know why, but my dad watched a lot of Fox News, and so I started hearing more and more about the anthrax scares. And then I heard something about how they said that it's the texture of pixie sticks, the anthrax is.
Mhm.
And I thought that I was gonna get anthrax in my pixie sticks. So I got scared.
I would have definitely died because I like pixie sticks.
And I told my mom, she was like, what do you want to be for Halloween? And I said, I don't want to trick or treat. I said, I don't want to celebrate Halloween because I'm going to get anthrax in my pixie sticks. My mom wasn't like, where the fuck did you hear that? She was just like, all right, I don't have to take you trick or treating then. I don't fucking care. And I was like, sweet. And then I had not trick or treated until I was 17 with my friends, and I was a bag of leaves. I got a trash bag and I
Yeah.
stapled leaves to it.
But it's fucking weird now because, and I hate to sound like my grandfather, but they used to let us just wander around. I mean, of course, back then it was like, you came from school, it was like go out and play, come back for dinner. They didn't know
Yeah.
fucking where you were, no cell phones or anything. But if I was around, my kid, I would be like, I would be with him every step of the way.
Yeah.
I would be afraid of it. But what's even weirder about that is, back then there was fucking serial killers, and I grew up. Well, I grew up in the late 70s, 80s.
Yeah, word spread a lot slower then.
But
Now
there
you got
also
social
wasn't
media.
DNA. Somebody could have murdered my ass, and I'd still be, because back then they would go, we got fingerprints and Dick else, so we're never
Yeah.
gonna find this guy.
Yeah.
Like even on one of the Zodiac things, the couple that got stabbed, Lake Baronessa Lake, when they got stabbed there, when the main detective showed up, one of the fucking cops had bundled up their picnic shit and just put it in the back of a truck as evidence instead of leaving it there so they could see how everything was.
Yeah.
So
They got thrown out.
Yeah, it was just dumb shit like that. Or
Yeah.
they find a couple shells. But now, I mean, literally, now would be the time to tell your kid, go fuck off, do whatever you want. Because there's DNA and shit, we can find out what happened to you.
We'll make another one of you. Who
Hey,
fucking
we don't have to
cares?
worry about it. But you still, half these fucking shows you watch on crime and stuff, it's like 30 years ago, back when cops sucked and there was no DNA.
Yeah.
That's what all those shows are about. You notice none of them are like a year ago. Look at First 48, that show.
Mhm.
It literally, this guy died and he lived in the Pac-Man district. And then you're like, oh, I feel bad for him. He had 45 kids
I don't ever feel
and he was on crack.
I don't
And
feel bad for this.
but then the person they get in the fucking interrogation room and they're just like, you did it, didn't you? And you're like, God damn, you're good. You got me. And it's like wrapped up that fucking fast.
Yeah.
That shit wouldn't have happened back then.
Did you listen to the My Favorite Murder episode about Halloween candy poisoners?
Mm-mm.
That I think there's only ever been one case where a child was actually poisoned for real and on purpose. But back in I think it was like the 40s when this happened, or 40s or 50s, somewhere. No, I think it was the 60s or something. It doesn't matter. But that was the first ever incident where a child was poisoned from Halloween candy. And that's what it looked like. So there was a big article on all the headlines. This is basically how journalism can affect the mentality of an entire state or country or entire world.
And paranoia.
It fucked up a lot of people. Still to this day, they're still getting these stories. This child was in the house, and he had just gotten back from Halloween trick-or-treating, and he had asked his uncle if he could eat Halloween candy. And I think I might be getting this. I don't know exactly how it happened, but then he ended up going into cardiac arrest. The child ended up going in cardiac arrest. The last thing the uncle had saw him do was eat his Halloween candy, and then the kid died shortly after doing that. And so the uncle was like, "Oh fuck, I'm supposed to be babysitting." And the family came to come pick their son up, and he was dead. And then the police came and they did an autopsy, and they found out that there was like some crazy cardiac arrest, and they tried to figure out what was going on, and it led up to poison. And that's what they could assume back then.
Probably rat poison or arsenic or something.
They couldn't test it in an autopsy because they were looking for something else. And I guess back then when an autopsy's going on and they're looking for one specific thing, they overlook a lot of other things. The uncle had a cocaine stash. The kid got into the cocaine. The uncle didn't want to say anything.
So it had nothing to do with candy.
No, but the last thing the uncle did was see that he ate candy, and he didn't want to fess up. And so when that came out, they made sure to put the kid dying from Halloween candy all over the front pages of the news. And then they had a follow-up several months later on a very, very, very small tabloid at the back of the newspaper that hardly anyone read. And so they were like, oh, what the fuck? And then the second story on the podcast was, I guess, these people were trick-or-treating and the lights were off at this one house. And this family kept knocking and knocking and knocking and wouldn't stop knocking, and looked through the windows and saw someone there. And this guy actually got really pissed off because they wouldn't stop fucking knocking, that he actually went and he hand stapled this weird fucking pixie stick and put arsenic and whatever weird powder in there, and then just gave the kid he gave them 3 pixie sticks. One of the kids got into it and had cardiac arrest, and their lips were all blue from the dye that was put in there for the pixie stick. And what was crazy was when they had found that out, one of the kids had asked their parent if they could have one of their candies that they had. And in that moment, one parent called and was like, hey, dude, there's an autopsy. This pixie stick that looks like this, it's got poison in it. And the mom ran in and grabbed the pixie stick out of the kid's hand and was like, don't fucking eat this. So there's only ever been one true incident of a true poisoning. The other one was a mistake and a cover-up. And then it's just fucking blown out of proportion.
Well, we had it one, there was the thing about somebody putting razor blades in apples and shit like that.
Yeah, then okay.
I think it's all urban
wants
myths.
A candy apple?
This wasn't even candy apple. It was just fucking apples.
Yeah,
I wouldn't have eaten that anyway.
No one would have eaten that. And plus, even I have TMJ, so I can't bite into an apple straight up because it'll hurt my jaw. So if I'm eating an apple, I'm gonna slice it. And if I slice it and find out there's a metal blade blocking my blade from cutting it, I'm not gonna eat that apple. What you should do, like a normal sane human being, is take an onion and you dip it in caramel, put it on a stick, and wrap it, and then you give it to a kid saying it's a caramel apple.
Awesome.
And you're like, here you fucking go. That is the most
I am putting that next to my salad bag.
Yeah, there you go. That's what I would do because it's harmless and fucked up, but it's harmless. Someone's gonna be like, oh, dick, you know?
But now I walk into fucking Publix and I'm just like, I could buy that candy myself. This shit I bought myself. It's like when somebody else
That's when you become an adult.
It's like if you buy a pizza now and we did a taste test and I had 2 pizzas, you took a slice from one and took a slice from one, I guarantee you the one that's better is the one you didn't pay for. Pizza's when you go to somebody's house and we have pizza, you're like, this is amazing. But then if I order a pizza for myself, I'm like, this is not as good as that free shit somebody else gave me.